Good evening and welcome to Sunset News on this Tuesday evening. As always, we bring you the news, community stories, economics, weather and sports. I am Ashwin Berry. In the news tonight, in a case in which activist Frido Dausab is challenging the sodomy law, parties will appear this morning before a full bench of the Windhoek High Court for closing arguments. Dausab argues that gay men's constitutional rights of dignity, freedom and equality and protection against discrimination are violated by this law. Proceedings started around 10:30 a.m. today. Now, Frido Dausab's legal team finished their closing arguments around where they claimed that the state no longer enforces the sodomy laws and therefore serves no purpose. They further argued that the law discriminates against homosexual men. Agriculture Minister Kau Slatvine speaks at the Cairo Water Week in Egypt yesterday. The event is themed Action on Water Adaptation for Sustainability and aims to harness the successful transition of the water agenda.
How do we treat water? How do we treat the water crisis? How do we treat the financial crisis? How do we treat the climate crisis? And I'm very grateful that we got, during this session, and not a precise answer, but a set of answers that puts humanity at the center of the crisis. We must solve humanity's crisis, the threat against humanity. And whether we finance and how we finance, the science is very clear, it will come. And our job is now to collectively pave away firm arguments that enables us to manage the crisis and save humanity.
Professor Nena Aboki Peter from the Uganda Makerere University, former and founding dean of the East African School of Higher Education, Studies and Development, speaks on the importance of international university collaboration during the dialogue on innovative higher education strategies, National Multiplication Training. The National Multiplication Training is tailored to impart crucial skills and knowledge on strengthening internal quality assurance and study program development in higher education institutions in Namibia.
I am Professor Nema Boki from Uganda, and I'm here at the invitation of the University of Namibia as one of the facilitators for this program of quality assurance. And even recently in July, I had a chance to go to Germany, also under the University of Namibia, although I'm from Uganda, for the National Multiplication Training, which we are now imparting to these other participants from across this region, the SADC region. I'm a professor of higher education, management and development, and publish in quality assurance and higher education. Mm-hmm. And so even one time in 2018, I was here at the invitation of the National Council for Higher Education as an expert, a quality assurance expert for programs review for NUST, Namibia University of Science and Technology. And I'm happy again to be here. And my expectation that this conference, this workshop, is going to yield a lot of fruits for the good of our country here and the entire region in the south. Yes.
Right. Could you tell me what is the importance of international collaboration when it comes to quality assurance for higher education institutes?
Yes, you know, we talk about collaboration and partnerships, which is very important. And when you partner with other places, with other agencies, it is you who stands to benefit. Because there is what we call in total quality management, sharing learning with others. So when you collaborate, when you partner, you are sharing learning. You give what you have, and you also get from other people. In fact, it's said that there is nobody who is too poor in order not to receive. Just as there is nobody who is too rich. There is nobody who is too rich in order not to receive. And there is no one who is too poor in order not to give. So collaborations, partnerships, you give and take. It is reciprocity.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Namibian actor and media personality Adriano Fissachi has been announced as the co-host for the 8th edition of the Sotigui Awards, set for Sunday 12 November in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. Fissachi will host alongside Burkinabe radio and TV personality Stephanie Zongo. The Sotigui Awards are organized by the Sotigui Academy to promote cinema from Africa and the diaspora. In our Story of the Day segment, Geka Farmer donates to the Cancer Association of Namibia's program. Stay with Sunset News.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Geka Farmer donated 120,000 Namibian dollars to the Cancer Association of Namibia's CHICKA program, CA program rather. At a handover ceremony, CAN CEO Rolf Hansen said nearly 30,000 children in sub-Saharan Africa are believed to have died from cancer during the COVID-19 pandemic, according to a report by the World Health Organization's regional office. Namibia has its fair share of childhood cancer cases, he said, adding that leukemia, retinoblastoma, nephroblastoma, brain tumors and lymphomas are the most prevalent cancers in Namibian children. Aurelia Africana reports.
That really sees great inspiration, dedication also by Geka towards the Chika Fund and program of the Cancer Association of Namibia. The Chika Fund is very important for us because it's our little children who fight cancer. And we always forget that children do get cancer as well. And it is especially the families who are afflicted by a childhood cancer diagnosis that really, really struggle, because if you are a parent, you would know when your child is just a little bit sick or with a fever, it feels as if your world is already ending when they're in pain. So can you imagine when your child is diagnosed with cancer, how bad that is? Now, childhood cancer refers to diagnosis of cancer in individuals under the age of 18. And the most common types of childhood cancers include leukemia, brain cancers, lymphomas, solid tumors such as neuroblastoma or Wilms tumor. Childhood cancer remains a pressing issue worldwide, and it's estimated that 400,000 children are diagnosed with a form of childhood cancer every year. According to the report by the Regional Office of the World Health Organization, nearly 30,000 children in sub-Saharan Africa are believed to have died from cancer during the COVID-19 pandemic alone. And I always refer back to COVID-19. I say it was terrible, it was a huge tragedy, but we had so many other diseases that were still there, that were left behind, unfortunately, and cancer was one of them. People actually died, more people died, and we forgot because of this pandemic. So we always take cognizance of the fact that this disease has been around forever, and we're going to be stuck with it for a very long time, because cancer is not a singular disease, it's a multitude, more than 300 different types of diseases classified as cancers. And each one of them is diagnosed differently, treated differently, life expectancy is differently, and outcomes post-treatment is also very differently.
In Community Talk, we zone in on the story of a young girl who makes jewelry to raise money for her treatment against blood and bone marrow cancer.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
In community talk, 30-year-old Cherise van Wyk makes the most beautiful jewels to raise money for her treatment against blood and bone marrow cancer. Even the fact that this is the second time in her life that she has had to fight this cancer does not get her down either. Just yesterday, when she had to be in Windhoek again for a bone marrow test, she was going to buy more stock to make more pendants and bracelets. Just maybe she can help with more than 40,000 Namibian dollars her parents pay for her treatment every month. We certainly hope she gets assistance. Now, according to Economic News, 84.6 billion Namibian dollar budget reviewed. Stay with us. Finance Minister Ipumbu Shimi tabled the midterm budget review today for the financial year 2023-24. The $84.6 billion budget for the current financial period was initially tabled in February. Total expenditure composed of 66.1 billion Namibian dollars in operational expenditure, representing 78.2% of the total budget. In addition, 10.2 billion Namibian dollars was allocated for interest payments, which accounted for 11.9% of the overall budget. The development budget received only 6.5 billion Namibian dollars, accounting for 9.9% of the entire budget. On the other hand, overall revenue was projected at 74.4 billion Namibian dollars. Let's head into the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 18.73 next to the US dollar, whilst 19.79 Namibian dollars get you €1. Gold and Brent crude oil made dips of 0.45 and 1.34% respectively, whilst copper and platinum managed some upticks. In international news, a company found guilty of safety breaches in New Zealand White Island volcano disaster. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
A New Zealand court earlier today found the management company of White Island, where a volcano eruption in 2019 killed 22 people, mostly tourists, guilty of one charge of breaching health and safety law. Following the explosion on White Island, also known as Wakari, the workplace regulator charged 13 parties in November 2020. 6 of them, including the helicopter and boat tour operators, pleaded guilty. Charges against other parties, except the management company, were dismissed. District Court Judge Evangelos Thomas found Wakari Management Limited, which manages the island on behalf of the owners but did not undertake the tours, guilty of one health and safety charge. A second charge was dismissed. White Island, an active volcano, used to regularly host visitors, even though eruptions were not uncommon. Tourists are no longer able to visit the island.
The charge under Section 37 is proved and WML is convicted. The charge under Section 36 is dismissed. WML's breach, its failure to undertake the necessary risk assessments, was a significant and substantial cause of an individual being exposed to risk of death or injury. Thirdly, the interaction between WML and GNS was not enough to amount to taking necessary expert advice on the risk of permitting tours to Whakaari. The information passing from GNS to WML was ad hoc, infrequent, unstructured.
The death toll of Palestinians from Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip has risen to 8,306, the health ministry said on Monday. A total of 110 people in the West Bank were killed in the violence. The Israeli attacks were triggered by a large-scale Hamas attack on Israeli military targets and towns on October 7, which has so far killed at least 1,400 people in Israel, according to Israeli authorities. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa yesterday said he was declaring 15 December a public holiday to celebrate the country's Rugby World Cup win. The Springboks claimed a record 4th Rugby World Cup on Saturday with a 12-11 win over old foes New Zealand. Ecstatic South African supporters who had called for a holiday on Monday to bask in the victory of their rugby heroes will get their wish, albeit a month and a half after the fact.
In celebration of the Springboks' momentous achievement and the achievements of all our other sportsmen and women, and as a tribute to the resolve of our united nation, I'm declaring Friday the 15th of December 2023 as a public holiday. We declare this to be a day of hope, a day of celebration and unity. Our sportsmen and women have shown us what is possible.
Let's head into the weather predictions. It looks sunny across the board, save for Katima Mulilo, which expects some rains and partly cloudy conditions in Rundu. Ludritz, Riamsfley and Oranje-Munda also partly cloudy, along with Keetmanshoop, and a 13 degrees Celsius minimum is expected in Henties Bay. We'll now head over to the sports desk, proudly brought to you by Sportswrap.
Good evening and welcome to your Sunset News Sports section. I am Jesse Jackson Kauraitha. After experiencing a 2-0 loss last Thursday in the second round of the African qualifiers for the Olympic Games, the Brave Gladiators are preparing to face Morocco again in the second leg match tonight. The Moroccan national team are the rising stars Namibia's resilient underdogs will face in the second round of the qualifiers. The Namibians will need to bring something magical in order to overturn the loss they suffered last week's match following their recent World Cup victory in the first leg of the second round. Namibia's campaign at the African Hockey Road to Paris 2024 tournament in Pretoria took a decisive blow when its women's team fell short of a second time and was beaten 2-3. That is by Zambia yesterday. In the post-match interview following Sunday morning's opening loss to Ghana by 2-1, team captain and goalkeeper Petro Stoffberg said Ghana could likely be the strongest team in the pool with a track record of second-place finishes at the African tournaments. The recent rhythmic gymnastics national saw gymnast displayed their remarkable talents across different categories. The competition for levels 4 to 10 and high performance levels to senior was hosted by the Walvis Bay Gymnastic Club over the weekend at the Jan Velken Stadium in Walvis Bay. The event saw 86 gymnasts compete for the national title. Level 4 saw Nina Marinel claiming the title. That brings us to the end of tonight's Sunset News Sports section. Good night.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with entertainment. Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news. Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
As well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Thank you for staying with Sunset News throughout this evening's broadcast. Let's get into the highlights from some of our top stories. Geka Pharma donated $120,000 Namibian to the Cancer Association of Namibia's CHICA program. At a handover ceremony, CAN CEO Rolf Hansen said nearly 30,000 children in sub-Saharan Africa are believed to have died from cancer during the COVID-19 pandemic. In a case in which activist Frido Dausab is challenging the sodomy law, parties will appear this morning before a full bench in the Windhoek High Court for closing arguments. Dausab argues that gay men's constitutional rights of dignity, freedom, equality and protection against discrimination are violated by this law. And after experiencing a 2-0 loss last Thursday in the second round of the African qualifiers for the Olympic Games, the Brave Gladiators are preparing to face Morocco again in the second leg match tonight. And with that, we have come to the end of the broadcast. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook or on all Namibia Media Holdings platforms, as well as on our website, oneupto.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25 every weekday and Sunday from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. This has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.